We're all sitting around on pins and needles for Auburn football recruiting and transfer portal news, lest we forget that Auburn basketball recruiting is still in full swing. Let's talk about a brand new huge commitment for Bruce Pearl and what it means for Auburn basketball. As always, smash that like button if you enjoy this type of content, and as you're watching or listening today, be sure to drop a comment down below about this particular topic. It will help enter you into our ongoing subscriber giveaway for a signed Auburn football prize package. And lastly, we always want to thank members of our booster club like Linda Bird, who help produce videos like this. Bruce Pearl has not had a problem with finding really tall and large athletes to fill out his roster, but those adjectives don't even go anywhere near describing the huge commitment from this particular recruit. Your new commitment for 2024's Auburn basketball's recruiting class, Peyton Marshall of Marietta, Georgia, a 7-foot, 310-pound athlete coming to join the Tigers. Peyton Marshall commits to Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers on December 9th after a long period of waiting where there was some minor flirting going on with some other programs, but most people felt like this was going to be the outcome all along, him officially throwing his hat into the ring with Auburn, and I'm thankful that we actually reached this point. Throughout the fall season, he's been getting a lot of attention from some high-profile schools, more so as time has gone on, especially throughout the SEC, the ACC, and even into the Big Ten. So the fact that Auburn was able to secure this commitment as the attention around him continues to grow is going to be a huge win in their column to maintaining that commitment until we get to the actual signing day. Just a little bit more information about this recruit before we talk about what it means. As I've already mentioned, he is 7 foot, 310 pounds approximately. You'll find some publications that list him maybe an inch shorter or a few pounds lighter, but the point still stands. This is a huge guy that's coming to be Auburn center. And I really think you look at this guy and you don't see how he can play anything other than center for Auburn going forward. He's from Clell High School up here in Marietta, Georgia, not too far from where I'm actually located. Might have to go over there and watch a few games. So without a lot of concrete stats to look at from his high school days, we're going to just move right on to talking about what it means for Auburn. And when we start off this discussion, we always want to talk about what it means currently first for the recruiting class that he's going to be a part of. Obviously doesn't apply to the upcoming one in 2023 since he's part of 2024. And we've already mentioned he is the first commitment for that and the first overall center. Now, as the case with basketball recruiting, there are less spots. So there's not going to be so much of these dynamics that we talk about in football because the spots, obviously by the nature of the sheer roster size, are a little bit limited. But it's nice to go ahead and for this 2024 class, have a center secured to build around. What this means for the future is now that we can concentrate on filling out with guards and some smaller forwards, and by smaller forwards, I still mean power forwards because they're still smaller than him. But that's what you really got to think about in terms of future. What else does this mean going forward for him and recruiting and for Auburn basketball? For instance, I think a lot of the times you should think about these guys coming in and redshirting right away. In this case, I don't think that you should plan on that. And that really is the case in basketball a lot. There's usually a lot of playing time available if you are a big enough recruit. And I think that's going to be the case for Peyton Marshall here as well. In thinking about that, let's talk about the depth chart real quick about who's currently here right now and how it might affect Peyton in the future. Right now, you've got three technically centers on the roster right now: Babatunde Akingbola, Janai Broom, and Dylan Cardwell. Babatunde will be leaving at the end of this year as a senior, at least we assume. Janai Broom is kind of an interesting case because if he continues on his current trajectory, he will probably find himself in the NBA draft this year, but definitely next year at the rate he is going. And then you've got Dylan Cardwell, who I think could have a opportunity to go into the NBA draft, but I hope and I think he will stay for another year, which would mean that he would probably be the starting center next year, and then leaving at the end of that year as being a senior, maybe into the NBA draft, which leaves the door wide open with all three of those guys gone for this guy, Peyton Marshall, to potentially be the starting center as a freshman. Now listen, we're just operating off of what we know right now, but this still informs what will happen for the next recruiting cycle and the next in terms of the center position about who stays and who's going to be coming in the future now with Peyton Marshall. So think about it that way. You may actually have another center come into the fold through the transfer portal or something like that to be a piece with Peyton Marshall alongside him when they both arrive in 2024, if there's a new one not here already. And lastly, I always just like to mention this in terms of recruiting videos, in terms of winning Battleground States. We usually talk about this a lot in football, but it's still important in basketball. Auburn will always have the battleground states of Georgia, Alabama, Florida, those central areas. It's always good to go into the state right next door, which is basically our backyard, and steal one out of there. It will be something to keep in mind to see if maybe Georgia or Georgia Tech makes a push to try to steal him with such a long time until his actual signing date. So we'll have to watch that closely. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on your brand new commitment for the 2024 class. A humongous center, Peyton Marshall, joining the Auburn Tigers and Bruce Pearl. Would love to know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Make sure you do that so you can enter into that ongoing subscriber giveaway to win that signed Auburn football prize package. As always, smash the like button if you enjoy this type of content, and be sure to subscribe, part of that subscriber giveaway as well. Check out the links in the description for ways to help support our content, and we appreciate you being here at the E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. War Eagle.